MaryAnne Gilmartin of Forest City Ratner, thank you for speaking to us today. Forest City, I guess it was about a year now that you guys became a REIT, right? How does that change things for you guys?
It's a good question. We have always been part of the public company. I would say that being a public company and a non-REIT in an environment where most real estate companies in the public markets are REITs put us at a disadvantage. Our stock is not heavily traded. Our stock was not necessarily put into a peer group because we were hard to analyze and hard to understand, highly complex business, owning things like a basketball team in an arena. And I think that we were not able to really optimize the value of the stock for the shareholder. And so for a long time we've been talking about moving in the direction of a REIT. But it's a family business in many ways, and so that took time to create the mandate within the organization. So we have great NOI, our net operating income across the country. Over 85% of it is derived from core markets, gateway cities. So we have a very good story for the operating portfolio, but the operating portfolio is a really important part because it's what the investors are counting on year over year.
MaryAnne, so tell us a little bit about your partnership on Pacific Park in Brooklyn.
It's a great question because if the project is anything at all, it's a series of partnerships. We have partnerships with the city, we have partnerships with the state. I would say every agency in New York City government has touched this project. We have since sold the team in the arena to the company Annexum, which is run by Mikhail Prokhorov. And as we looked at the timeline for building the residential, we realized with all the equity we had put into the project and the need for speed and the desire to build, we would be wise to bring a partner in. And we set out to find a partner, a well-capitalized partner. We're talking about an equity investment that could approach $800 million by the time the project is brought to fruition. That's not an easy check to write, and to explain the project to an investor is another really complicated matter. And so we knew we needed to deal with a very sophisticated outfit that really understood our business. And in Greenland, we found that. This is a $50 billion Chinese developer. They're in fact in our business. They do it all throughout China, and they do it at a scale where this project could be viewed as small compared to the things that they undertake. And I have to say that we have had enormous success with Greenland. We have a cultural experiment unfolding on the 18th floor here, where we have over 25 Chinese nationals working side by side our developers and our construction experts. And so they're here to learn, they're here to partner, they're here to invest, and they're here to build.
When was the last time you went to a Nets game?
It's been a while. I would say that
this year?
I have been in the building, but not at a Nets game. And I'll tell you, in some ways, building that building and the story of that building for me, it becomes like a child to you. And it was, for me, a perfect example about how you can't get too emotional about the real estate, because selling the arena was the right thing for the company. But Bruce Ratner and I struggled with it from an emotional and a connectivity point of view. I live a half a mile from the building. I pass it every day. And I would say that it's a treasure, and it's something that I will be always so proud of. It's hard to walk into a building like that after being such an integral part of it, and then having the ownership change.
MaryAnne, you're a Brooklynite yourself. Tell us a little bit about what you'd like to see change in the borough.
Brooklyn's arrived in so many ways, residentially speaking. We have a sports arena. The notion of Brooklyn having a Class A 21st century iconic office building, that hasn't quite happened yet. And so you have buildings like Watchtower, you have converted warehouses down in Dumbo, but you do not have a building that would be Brooklyn's own version of Time Warner Center. And I would say that on my watch, if you said to me what would make you most proud, if you think about life after New York Times building, New York by Geary, Barclays Center, I would say that being able to build an iconic office building at Site 5, which is where Modell's and P.C. Richards sit today. It's this unbelievable site. It has view corridors all the way to the Manhattan Bridge along Flatbush Avenue. It has the gravitas to hold, a 1 million square foot building, and the sister building would be the Barclays Center. So my dream for that corner of Brooklyn would be to deliver to Brooklyn a Class A icon in the commercial space.